Hey guys, I'm Daniel, and my partner in crime with swag and rhyme is Saga MC. Welcome to
Yeah, I like that.
episode 624. How y'all doing? How's everybody? How you doing, Saga?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good.
I'm
Good to
good.
see you again. Good to see you again. You like the new digs?
No, yeah. I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know?
We cleaned up a bit. We upgraded. So
No, for sure. Yeah, about time, but
about
we're good.
time. So how was your weekend?
Busy.
Busy,
Busy
right?
weekend, yeah. So
Did you
I
enjoy? Oh yeah, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
no, I mean I had a T-ball, like the
Oh
the
yeah,
final the final T-ball game
same.
for my 4-year-old. And
Nice.
then we had the ceremony
Same.
where he
Yeah.
won most improved player.
Hey, hey.
Uh, uh,
That's a good one. Especially at that
it
age.
is, but it's a long story where
Mhm.
so I'll just jump into it. So
Yeah.
did he improve? I
Mhm.
believe he did, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But when they posed the question to vote, it was
Yeah.
like midway, almost towards the end, right? Where I
Hmm.
feel he didn't show his true like improvement to the last maybe 3 games, right? 2, 3 games. So I felt like, oh, he's most improved was premature. Although yes,
Yeah.
he became he became most improved, but I
Hmm.
felt like they were like, who can we give it to? Okay, we'll give it to him. I felt
Oh.
like that. Like it was like okay, we'll help him out. We'll make him feel a little better. You know, and then he ends up being like, no, he actually did improve.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But it was like I felt like, especially when they were reading off like, oh, he's improved because of this and that. I was like, I feel like you wouldn't have said that had that the last game been when you said he was most improved.
Yeah. Right.
But it is what it is. And he was like shocked, because
Mhm.
he doesn't like he's everywhere, just kind of looking at
Oh
everything.
man. Hmm.
Like baseball to him is too low key.
It's too slow paced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So mine are playing softball, and they just finished their season.
yeah,
It went really well. I think one best second base and third baseman.
okay,
And then they got their trophies and stuff like
yeah,
that. But yeah, I liked watching them improve
mm-hmm.
and see them, like, some weeks have issues like athletes, but
No,
it's
yeah,
so funny because they're so little, but like, they'll be good. They'll have 2 games where they're doing good, and then on the third game or even the practice, the ball will
yeah,
hit their hand.
yeah,
Oh, and that weekend they're just scared of getting hit in the hand, so then
yeah,
they're swinging all funny,
yeah.
is
So they're both in softball.
they both did softball, so they allowed Maya, who's
Mm-hmm.
4, they
Yeah,
allowed her to be on. They said if we were okay with it,
yeah,
putting her
mm-hmm.
on the lower leagues, which is like more like 6-year-old,
Yeah,
five
yeah.
5-year-olds also. We were cool with it, and she did fine. She
Yeah.
did great.
So was it like T-ball? Like was it on a tee or was it machine pitch or how'd they do it?
So they do coach pitch.
Okay,
So
okay.
so it's coach pitch, and then if they don't hit it in
Yeah.
like a bunch of, they give every kid like 10, 10
Try,
at
yeah.
bats, yeah. But if they're not getting it, then they do the T. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
okay.
So the goal is to not use the T,
For sure, yeah.
or if you do use the T, that you have a clean shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the
And,
thing. So like this is T-ball, right? He
mhm,
was in T-ball, and
mhm.
so yeah, you're mostly using the T up until the last maybe 4 or 5 games
I
where they
see.
introduce like machine pitch
Oh
to
wow.
practice, right?
Right.
And then they go with coaches throw the ball.
Yeah.
But like my son wasn't ready for that. So
So he's
him
yeah.
and another kid were still on the tee, which was
Yeah,
fine
yeah,
because before he would be like hit
yeah,
the ball and it would just kind
yeah.
of like drop and roll.
Mhm,
And then
mhm,
the last couple of games, he was just
mhm.
like plat, and it would actually go far. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to rush him, and the coach asked me like, "Hey, is he ready for coach pitch?" I'm like, "No, he's not. And let's not embarrass ourselves.
Yeah.
And we tried it just to see it, but
Mm.
he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I see. So you did give it a shot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, with mine, they improved. We're gonna put them in soccer now, you
Yeah,
know, and that's that's my wheelhouse. So
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, I'm super excited for it, and I think they're gonna love it a lot because they really liked softball, but they liked more the friend aspect of it.
Okay.
And I don't know if they liked the game. They started doing really well,
Mhm.
especially in the last games. They just, you could tell from the first game to the
Yeah,
last game that
exactly. Yeah.
they start going to the ball, they start scooping it up, they
Yeah.
throw to first base, or first base throws back to the coach. Like
Mhm.
but see, that's the thing. That's where, like, they did kind of feel at times like an athlete, like we all do, like we all feel
Yeah.
like, oh man, I don't want to go to practice,
Yeah.
sometimes, so there's times like that. But I feel like with soccer is going to be less, because with softball, baseball, it's a slow paced game, but you
Mhm.
have to know so many rules. So
Exactly. Yeah.
there's so many sequences to the game. And I
Yeah.
feel like with soccer, uh it's
Pretty
just
fast paced.
and you kick the ball in the net.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game, and you try to work
Yeah.
together with your team. But essentially, the essence of the game is you kick the ball in the net.
Yeah.
Whoever does it more times
Wins.
wins.
Yeah. You steal the
That's
ball, kick the ball. That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
There's not all these other rules like, oh no, you got to tech. Like Maya was super happy, and like finally in like the third game or whatever, she finally started understanding, or by the third week, she
Yeah.
finally started understanding, like, no, I have to go to first base to
Mhm.
tag first base to receive the ball. Like, so it's before I even
Yeah.
get the ball, I have
Yeah.
to go to first base, tag it, then go get the ball after they throw it to me, and
Yeah.
then tag it again, like
No.
re-tag
Yeah. Yeah.
first base. So there's like
Yeah.
this whole, even just that concept alone, which is so simple to us, we play baseball or whatever.
Mhm.
But when you think about the fundamentals of, like, oh yeah, like I didn't learn that till late. I was like way older. That baseball wasn't my first sport, and
Baseball was never my sport.
yeah. Oh yeah, I played a season or two, and
Yeah.
it's just too slow pace.
Yeah.
It's like I like, and what's so funny is, like, I like playing it. I do like
Yeah.
playing it, but I like watching it too. Even if it's slow pace, it doesn't mean I don't like it. Does that make sense?
No.
I mean,
No. No. Yeah.
I like golf. Golf is really slow
Yeah.
pace.
I rather play most sports than watch them.
Of course, of
You
course,
know.
of course.
But baseball, I think, is one because I didn't play baseball either. So to me,
Mhm.
watching it is fine.
Yeah.
It's sad because I'm half Dominican, and you would think like I would have been in baseball. Like that's
You're wearing a Dodger hat.
well, yeah, but that obviously I
I'm just
wasn't born with
Yeah,
the Dodger hat. I was born Dominican, like that. That's a for sure, But that was like, oh, you're Dominican? Baseball. How come you're
Yeah.
not playing baseball? Like that was never a thing for me.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah,
dude, you're talking about, like, oh, you're Dominican and this and that.
yeah.
So let me tell you. So this
Okay.
weekend, right?
I feel like you're gonna talk shit about Dominicans, but go ahead.
No, not Dominican, but it just brings up a point. You're like, oh, I'm Dominican, because you're not.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, you're Dominican, but
yeah,
like, if someone says, like, oh, where are you? Like, are you're American? You know what I mean? Like, you're an American.
yeah. Yes, I was
Like,
born in America. Yes.
And how okay, well, we'll get into it, but so Jesus, okay, so
I have to disown my people when
no,
talking to you. But go ahead. I am
no,
American. Yeah.
no,
America. Fuck
so
yeah.
get this,
Okay, go.
And it's so funny because it's gonna come off funny. I'm wearing this, and it's
Exactly.
it's a coincidence.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a coincidence.
Let's go. Let's go.
Although this is like
Captain.
my fifth America shirt, but this is a coincidence.
Yeah. Go
But
for it.
anyways, let me drink some
The
before I tell
suspense.
this story. But the U.S.-Mexico game happened. It was the
Okay.
CONCACAF finals. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the North American Championship. Canada, Jamaica,
Yeah.
like all these, the Caribbean, whatever. And of course, it usually ends up with Mexico and the United States. They're the best in this continent, and they kind of stand out, right? There's no other contenders globally. The CONCACAF is probably one of the smaller divisions, right? The best are Mexico and US, which aren't best in the well, Mexico can contend sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
and US can sometimes, but
but there, it
not
becomes
really
a different, when you open it up to everybody,
yeah, they're not powerhouses consistently, right? Is what I'm saying. So, anyways, but they got that, you know, that's a subtext. They have the final. They make it to the final, and I'm watching it with some homies, okay, and you know, the homies I'm watching it with are Mexican Americans like myself. You know, I'm Mexican American. I'm also a Chilean American, but I'm you know, American or whatever. So we're all watching it, and I'm going for the U.S. because I'm American, and so I'm like, oh yeah. So we just start cheering for the teams that we start cheering for, and they're like, and I'm not, you know, I was like, oh yeah, thinking everyone's gonna go for the U.S., you know, and then they're like, you know, obviously my homie Ricky, he always goes for Mexico, and we always have this debate, you know, always. But you know, there was other people added to this debate this time.
Yeah.
And it was just like, they're like, oh, wait, you go for the United States? And I was like, what? You're shocked? Wait, you're shocked? Why though? You're shocked because I go for my own country? I don't understand. What's the shock from? And what are you doing? Shouldn't I be shocked? Who are you going for? And they're like, oh, I'm going for Mexico. Oh yeah, like, you know, like it's just crazy because like I'm sure they don't speak Spanish that well, you know, and it's like you like. I'm not saying anything. I'm just trying to say, like, man, you're claiming it and really going for the Mexican team, which like, okay, so they made comments like, oh, because I was like, yeah, I'm going for the team that it says on my passport. I'm American. I was born here. Like, what are you talking about? So that for me, it's common sense, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, one of them said like, oh yeah, tell that to all the other Americans. Like, how do they see you? And I was just thinking like, wait, dude, no one is. That's such a okay. So first off, if you like, we don't experience that. We're in Southern California, you know what I mean? And we don't experience. Look at the room around us. I was saying, look at the room. What are you talking about? We're watching this. We're having a good time. Like, I don't experience. You know, you might experience comments, but you're gonna experience comments everywhere. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. It definitely does. I'm just saying like, the people that we're speaking don't really experience it really on a crazy level, and the racism that they would experience, or the classes, or the I don't even know what to call it, but the xenophobia, I guess, that they would experience if those very same people that we're talking were to get kicked out and go to Mexico. Those Mexicans would, like, that's what I was trying to explain to them. I'm like, you are American in every sense of the word. Like, I go to Mexico, like Spanish was my first language. And when I go back to Mexico, my cousins laugh at me. They call me white. They call me white. They call me, oh, I'm clearly not, I'm dark. You know what I mean? But they're like, dude, you're American. And I'm like, yes, because I was born here. And I can't, my humor is, my mannerisms, like, you know what I mean? Are you willing to give up the Dodgers, the Kings that you go see all the time? Like, you don't,
Oh, okay.
You're not, people aren't really thinking about it. They want to say, because it's like not even national pride. It's like ethnic pride, but like, that's not your national, like, your nationality is this. Everything that you've got is from, like, your education, your mannerisms, this and that.
Yeah, I get you.
If you were to get, that's what I was trying to explain to them. Right now, if I snap my finger and you go to Mexico, you think they're gonna treat you with open arms, more open arms than you get here?
No,
like I don't like, look at the room, look at us, like how much I'm not. There's pockets. There's people that experience racism. There's Karens. You know, we see them all the time. There's police brutality. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't expand, but like, Mexico's not going to be like, you're back. You're Mexican. Like, no.
So here's my question then.
Like, what?
Well, here's my question. So I understand we had this conversation when it comes to MMA.
Right.
And I'm like, not going for the US, you know, person, right? I think it's a little different because it's MMA, right? You know,
yeah, very single individual sport.
yeah, but they carry their country on their back, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's sometimes.
So
I mean, no,
I guess for me it does, like, it's one of those, like, man, like, yeah, this is my country, you know, I love America, right? But I also, like, I root for the, like, the culture, that, you know, like, I root for the, for lack of a better word, the motherland. You know, and I understand, because you're like, well, technically you're not from, you're from there, but your motherland would be would be America, right? Because you were born here, right? But I think that's the reasoning, right? Like, I want the Dominican Republic to do good.
And me too. Me too. I was trying to explain to them, hey, like, I go for Mexico.
Yeah,
I go for and even when they face the United States, I want a good game, and I want. That'll bring me to my next point.
Yeah.
I want a really good game, and I want Mexico to have a good showing and represent themselves very well. But when they're going against my country, then I want my country to win. That Mexico is my mom's country, and not even anymore. She's a U.S. citizen now.
Yeah.
But that was the country she was born in. So like, that would make sense for her to, like, her mannerisms that I'm sure have changed now because she's lived in this country more than she has in her motherland, you know? And so, and she knows, she says, she's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, we came
But
here,
is it wrong though? Is it really wrong? Is it wrong to? Okay.
I'm not saying it's wrong. That's why, like, if Mexico plays any other country other than
but
Chile,
you feel it's wrong if you feel it's wrong if they're playing against the U.S. though.
To go for Mexico?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's wrong, because you can still be a fan of the team, like we just said about the MMA fan, right? You know, if Michael Chandler will come out, and I'm usually a Michael Chandler fan. I'm just using him as an example.
No,
so
sure.
Maybe this is not a good example, but I don't know. Michael Chandler comes out with the American flag, you know, and so, but it depends. Like, if he fights a fighter that I like better, you know, which I don't even know. Do I like another fighter? If he fights a fighter that I like better, then I'm gonna go for that fighter. Charles Oliveira, I like that he won. You know what I mean? And Chandler was my guy. So
how about this? So then when Ngannou fought Weidman, not Weidman, when he fought Stipe.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's a good example.
You know,
a great example.
Yeah, because Stipe is he's not even. I mean, he's American, obviously, right? But his nationality is I don't know, not Polish or something, but he's definitely has other, you know, Stipe Miocic is not a fucking American name.
He's Croatian but he's from Cleveland, Ohio. He's on the fighting.
Yeah, and so he reps the US.
He reps the US, yeah.
And so he fought Ngannou.
Yeah. But he's come out with the Croatians, like, he reps Croatia too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't necessarily think it's wrong. But to come at me shocked for going for my country, it's like, no, what you're doing is more shocking. It's more, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, if we're really going to talk about what doesn't make sense, what you're doing kind of does. It's more of a stretch than what I'm doing.
And I get that point.
You know what I mean? Like, do you speak Spanish on the regular? Do you like, you know what I mean? What do you eat? You eat burgers and pizza. Like, you eat chips, and you know what I mean? Like,
and I get that.
It's what am I even trying to explain here? I don't know. That's what I don't.
I feel like that becomes like that's when you stick out. You know, you stick out like a sore thumb when you're fucking talking. You're like pointing fingers. Then people are like, well, wait a minute. Let's analyze and assess where this is coming from, and then you realize. Dude, you got no claims, no stake in the situation.
None.
You know? Yes, your last name is Hispanic or Mexican. And that's as far as it goes, you know.
And that's it. And then they started making claims like I said, like saying like, oh well, other Americans, they're not going to see you like that. And first off, they do, and second, our entire like the foundation.
Let's learn how to speak first. Let's speak English first. If you're repping United States, let's speak English.
No, but that's what I said. I'm like, first off, okay, let's clear that up. There is no official language in the United States. Why? Because they accept that everyone comes from somewhere else. So that's why there is no official language, even though people, that's why the Karens and the racists that are telling you to say, oh, you speak English. Like, English is what you should speak here. Like, no, dude, Spanish was my first language. And if you look at what it says, like any American that knows what they're talking about will tell you that English is not the official language of the United States. Okay. Is it the main language used? Yes. Duh. Like, I'm not like living in a fantasy world, but if you look at the document, it's not official for some reason. The reason is because we accept that people come from other places. Again, Spanish was my first language. So I'm not, so she you know, they were saying like, oh, well, you know, English is the official language here. And I'm like, no, it isn't. Like, you're just getting so many things wrong. I'm not saying that you can't have opinions. Oh, my opinion is to go for Mexico right now. That's good. But like, if you're going to come at me, please come with some sense. You know what I mean?
And I get that. You know.
And the other thing, so that's about the official language. Like, there is no, the people that are telling you that are wrong. Like, they're saying speak English are just wrong. Like, I don't know, they're living in a fantasy world. That's not what it, if you really, okay, we established that. Anyway, the next thing of like, oh, other Americans, you know, even if I agree, okay, there's racism and other Americans, you know, because that, you know, true Americans wouldn't, but other Americans are not seeing me as American. The entire foundation of our country was based, it was based on people not saying we're American. And we took that from we had to take that. No one said, oh yeah, here you go, you're American. No, we literally fought to be like, no, we're American. Give me that. We're American. And then they started building this country. So like, no. And what a weak-minded type of way of thinking. Like, well, other people, and I started telling her, I was like, well, in a general sense, not even about patriotism, no one is going to tell you what you are. You have to tell yourself what you are. That's what existing is. Like, be yourself and then just be that. What are you talking about? Oh, they don't say you are X, Y, Z. Like, right now, I'm saying what I am. If I start saying you're not Mexican or whatever, like, you can identify as whatever you want. You know, I'm going off what I see and evidence that I see in front of my face. You know, I want to live in as much of a reality as I can, you know, but you know, it says on my paper, I'm bringing up all of these facts. I live here. I educate here. All my friends are here. You know, I have family in Mexico. My mom is from Mexico. I have a dad from Chile, who, you know, who's also now an American citizen. Like, these, like, there's a reason they became American citizens. There's a, like a, you know, no one's shunning the heritage, the respect can still be there. Again, I go for Mexico, I go for Chile. I want them to do good. You know, I want the countries to do good, the people there to do well, you know. But what, like, waiting,
but not on America's dime.
Wait, imagine, hey, Saga, you're, I don't know, you're blind because I said so. Like, what? No, but I'm not. Like, but I say you're blind, so now you're blind. Like, no, what? A racist? Why would I listen to someone who's a racist or or like wrong? Like, what? Why would they be wrong? They're just wrong. So like, I'm American. Oh no, you're not. You don't look American. What does that even mean? You're wrong. So like, I don't know what to tell you. You're just wrong. I am, and you're wrong. And so I'm gonna continue being this. Like, no one's. Imagine if I waited for that. Imagine if I waited. Like, I'm just waiting for someone to say I'm American around here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so what? I feel like people say things because it's like a nice thought. It's a nice thought to like really embrace your like Mexican, like, you know, your Mexican air. And I love that. I also rep that. But it's like when we're playing a game, it's like a team thing, you know? You know, you go for your country. I don't know. I don't know. And you don't have to. Again, go for Mexico if you want, you know? You're gonna be like, why are you going for the US? Huh?
I mean, it's
what?
I can understand why they say it, you know, but I guess exactly. Like, I understand your point too. So I mean,
well,
it should just be, it is what it is, but Go ahead.
It should just be this. It is what it is. But the other thing that happened that brings me to my next point is U.S. wins.
Yeah.
But they win on like such a cheap way. It's like it's due to the instant replay. And I'm sure a lot of Americans, or maybe even soccer fans, American soccer fans, aren't gonna like what I say, because you're supposed to always, oh well, they won, so you're supposed to always like, no, man. Like I like I'm a Laker fan, right? But I'm the first to say, like, when it didn't happen all the time, but the superstars, they get special treatment. And if they get touched or whatever, and some games it would be overwhelming for Kobe. I love Kobe. I think he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest player of all time. And we can debate that another time. But what I'm saying is, even me thinking that, I didn't respect when there was games where it was kind of like, okay, no one can touch you right now. Like no one can breathe on you. I'm not happy about this. Like this is not, and that's what made me more mad is like you're saying like you're Mexican and this and that. But I bet if you won in this way, you'd be like, I'm Mexico, and we're like, while I'm over here like, because they were confused. They were like, oh, what? Why are you upset? I'm like, because this is going to be the narrative that exists.
Yeah.
If you weren't ever awarded that penalty, like, I don't know, would you have won? No, that's not how I want to win. I want to win with like where we win and there's no question about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to win in that type of way. And that was the other thing that made me so mad. Like, if you do rep Mexico, rep it, fine, but rep it with some honor. Like, if you were to win in that way, I'm sure you would accept that great in an amazing way. But I'm the first to be like, look, I'm wearing this. I'm like, I am about it. And I was upset because I was like, no, I don't think that was very well deserved.
Well, I think it's because you like the sport more than you respect the sport. Yeah.
It's any one team is not above the sport.
No,
yeah. And so I do feel that way. But that made me so mad. And so I was just like, like just frustrated all over. But I don't know. Like if your team wins, you just take the win, right? Like you just take.
No. I mean, I'll take it, but I'll also put the disclaimer of like, oh, but we shouldn't have won that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, you have to, right?
I mean, as a fan, like I can respect the game. I'm a student of the game, so it's like I personally don't like winning. With BS,
Yeah. It's
so if my team wins like that, I'm like, I mean, it is a win, and oh shit, we're in the playoffs now. But I also understand we got in because of that call or because of that,
And the other thing too is that it shows your lack of knowledge of the game. Like if you're or you're like, oh, you're gonna like forget about like what's actually happening. So okay, I all right. No, that's cool. And so
like I don't find cheating to win in like sports. Like when I cheated to win on my like math test or something, that was something because you could clearly see I didn't care about it, but like shit that I feel like I care about. The cheating is like no, like it doesn't count as a win because I hold winning in high regard,
Yeah, it's just not. It doesn't make sense. I wasn't really so happy, Like I don't know. I was like, this doesn't really feel good, And people will say they'll be mad because it's on video. That's the other thing I was going to bring up. So it's on video. They have the VAR, right? And so what happened was this guy goes into the penalty box. He's about to score, and then this other dude, the American, clips him, right? And so because that's what you got to do in the game. You got to come in and steal the ball from someone that's about to score a goal. So you jump in with your hip and you hit the ball and the body as much as you can. But if you hit the ball, you hit the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he does that and hits the ball. The guy goes like, he falls on the ground, and then everyone kind of just is like, oh, okay, he got the ball. Like the ball moved. It was pretty like in real time. What you're watching is pretty clear and obvious. He got the ball. So people are starting to set up and move around. Of course, they complain because soccer, that's the embarrassing thing about soccer, is based on complaining a lot. And so Then the ref's like, okay, let me go examine let's go settle this then. Let's go settle this. Let's go look at the VAR. And I was already like, no, dude, no. They're gonna go look and find something, which I've always said about VAR. So VAR has to exist because there's too much mafia influence in the game and corruption in the game.
Yeah.
So video had to exist. But I knew this was going to happen, and I think we've talked about it before in the past, where VAR, although it has to exist in some form, it's going to like really muddy the game in another way, in the other extreme, where every little thing of the game has to be called, because now it's on video. How do you not call it? So if you present it to the fans like, hey, this is the replay. And so that's what happened. They went through the replay, and the dude, like, it's a millisecond where it, like, he hits the hip and the ball virtually at the same exact time.
Yeah.
There's no way that the player felt the hip and then he got the ball. It was at the same time. It was at the same time. But on video, you can see that the millisecond of the shirt of the jersey is touching his hip first and then the ball. And so then they're like, well, penalty. And so then they give him the penalty, and of course it's a beautiful penalty. I mean, it's top right corner. No one, the goalie guessed the side, but it was so perfectly placed that it didn't even matter. And now let me tell you, the ref wants to clean his hands because he gives a handball. The Americans do a handball in the penalty box, so they give Mexico a penalty to tie the game, right? But Mexico has Guardado, the oldest guy, basically a super sub, go and take the penalty kick. My dad, who was watching at home, my mom told me that he was already mad about the other penalty, but still watching the game. And when they called this penalty, he's like, okay, maybe they even it out, they go to extra time or whatever, or penalty kicks. But they picked Guardado, who's like this older guy. My dad gets up and walks away. He's like, this guy's gonna miss. And my mom's like, dude, you're just, what are you talking about? He's like, this guy's gonna miss, whatever. And he walks to the kitchen, and then the dude misses. The dude, he kicks it, and it was such a poorly placed penalty kick, literally right in the range, in between, like, if the goalie just lands, it's not too close to where it goes under, and it's not too far where he can't reach. It's literally like right where he lands. It was slow, and it was a bad penalty kick. And he missed it. And so now the narrative is going to be, well, Mexico missed their opportunity. It's not the ref's fault. The ref equaled it out. The ref called one penalty and he called the other penalty. So he did the right thing. Like, no. And I'm not blaming the ref. I'm blaming the VAR. You know what I mean? He has to abide by what he saw. But I don't know what you think. What do you think about VAR? Do you think it's a better thing, or do moves like this piss you off, or what? You know what I mean?
So it's such a toss up. It literally depends on the play, you know, because as it is right now, like for sports that doesn't have that kind of a in-depth look at replays, right? It like for football, let's say, right? Like American football.
Yeah.
There's so many of those. If they had that, it would come in handy, you know, because it's like, and my thing is, I feel like if it's blatant to the fans, then again, you can't decide when you want to use it.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. As soon as you implement
it, opens a can of worms. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Like, man, do we really? When I talk to other like soccer players, I'm like, do we really want this in our sport though? Like, do we even want to open that door? Because once we have that power, are we going to want to give it away? Are we going to want to be like, hey, I don't want VAR anymore?
Yeah, but I mean, it's fine if it works for you. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So it makes things clearer, but then it also makes things like you're now looking at shit with a fine-tooth comb. You know, you're like, oh, that's fine. Well, we can fucking pick at and say, oh, there you go.
It ruins the play.
Yeah, because there's calls like that all the time in sports where you're just like, dude, what the fuck? That's blatant.
Yeah.
You know, if only the ref had a second look at it, he would know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then things in slow motion are like fucking magnetized. I mean, magnified. Yeah, me like you said, barely touching him, but in slow motion, it's like, oh, right there, we can pinpoint the contact.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's
Contact.
like,
Yeah,
no, that's not really, that didn't affect the play.
exactly.
But in slow motion, everything looks crazier in slow motion.
Right,
You know,
right.
me walking down the street in slow motion, it's like, dude, sick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Right,
so then, yeah, just imagine like, there's no contact. Oh, you see it right there in slow motion.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's a different play.
And it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting because it's like, that's what was he supposed to do? Like, he didn't. It wasn't malicious intent. It was like, it was just a body check along with touching the ball. Like, man, it's just so.
But see, like for flops, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be
especially amazing. In soccer. Especially in soccer.
And it's so amazing. But that's what I'm saying. This guy wasn't necessarily flopping, but so many soccer players in the pros, especially, you know, such high stakes. Yeah. They're inbred with, like, they're embedded with the habit of flopping. Yeah. There's very few that don't flop. Most of them are looked down upon if you flop. Even on my team, like playing semi-pro or like recreation, really any level of play. It doesn't matter what the level of play was. But when I play, if the ball goes out of bounds, I run to get the ball, and like even your team will be like, hey, dude, like go slower, like. I'll rest. I mean, I'm jogging, but I'm not squeezing the clock for it. And you know, and they'll be like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you? And you know, it's like, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that. I don't want to squeeze the clock. Like, I want to play. That's what I came to.
See,
that's why I suited up. Like,
but it's different.
And I'm better than I trust in my abilities, you know, and I don't know. And if we don't, then we lost. I don't know. Then we lost.
Like, so I guess that's different for other sports, because like you can run out the clock in football, right?
Yeah, I know. It's
that's not frowned upon. I mean, I don't see that as frowned upon in football.
It's a tactic.
I can see what you're saying in soccer. Like, they're kind of just like, I'll get there when I get there. Yeah, you know. But that's what I'm saying. Like those things, I'm not really too upset about. But I feel like for me, like flopping, dude, like in any sport is annoying to me. Like, you want to win by acting, like
you're just cheating. That's
like
cheating.
acting like you can play, or acting like you got hurt to win a game, like like that to me is like come on, like we're not playing, we're not acting, we're not fucking, you know, like let's be as real as possible. You're paid athletes, you know.
That's the other thing I didn't like about, you know, and I love soccer. I love, you know, the game of football, but it has its flaws, and like one thing is like, dude, don't get in my face like threateningly, you know, like they do that a lot in soccer. They do that a lot, and it's like, hey, if there's places, if you know, like you can do MMA. You can do boxing. Yeah. You can do that. Like we signed up for soccer. If you're really that mad, if you're that mad, like we can abide. Hey, the dude abides. I'm a duty priest. The dude abides. If that's what you want to do, like we can go ahead and do that. Let's go do that though. This is soccer. Like really, you know, and they'll get in and I'm not down. I'm down with the fight, or I'm down with not the fight. I'm just not down with the show of it. And it's like, if you come and get in my face, and they do that a lot in soccer, where it's like, hey man, if you would have done that anywhere else, I would have assumed the next thing you're gonna do is hit me in the face. So I'm gonna hit
assaulted you.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you first, because you're already like grabbing me by the collar. Like, I don't know if you're gonna elbow me or something. So now I'm just hitting you. Like, it's crazy that they like
well, if you feel protected, protected. That's why.
It's just all for show. It's like no, I'm not pretending. I'm not pretending this show. It's if you act that way, then that's what we're acting. That's what
exactly. And I've never been one to get mad in the sport that I'm playing. Like I get frustrated, or you know, but I've never been like, oh, I have to fucking get in this dude's face. Yeah. Because in my mind, like you're saying, I'm playing the game. That's what that's why I've come here. Yeah. I didn't come to hope that something happens to where now I can get mad and fight this dude, or
Right.
whatever.
What?
Like,
What?
you know,
Yeah, it's so crazy.
because to me, again, I've never been, to my recollection. I mean, maybe there's been one or two slip ups, right? But I've never been for the most part. Yeah, I've never been for the most part bark. Like, I don't bark. Like okay, that's fine. You want to talk shit or whatever? Okay, like I'll indulge you, you know, for sure. If you're saying something to me, I'm not gonna just be like, oh, you know, like if there's something that needs to be said, for sure, I'll say it. But I've never been one to be like, hey, I'm just gonna get in this guy's face, hoping that he doesn't want any.
Yeah, what? That's so weird.
Yeah,
It's
like, because if I get in somebody's face, I'm understanding that there might be something that follows that.
Right.
You
and
know?
you got to prepare yourself for what might come now. Like you're already threatening somebody, and you can't assume that they know you're not going to hit them.
Exactly. You know, yeah. So for me, it's like, if I have to weigh the outcome, I'm like, oh, if I chirp back, if I say some shit, then shit will happen. Like, we'll get into this. And then that's where I deduct. I'm like, is this worth it? Is this something that's necessary? Do I need to get dragged into this person's game? You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Do I need to ruin this? Like, is there a smarter way to get out of this? Right.
Yeah.
Like,
or just, is there a need for this to happen? Like, I fought this guy, but what was the purpose? Like, oh, because he said some shit.
No. My advice is always try and get out of it. But but I don't know.
But I don't bite. Yeah, but I don't bite for people just to shit talk. Like,
yeah. No,
you want to talk shit from over there? That's fine.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead, say your shit. If you want to step in, I'm not going to now just be like, hey, let's talk some shit in our faces.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that's not.
And that's, I'm not talking. You know, we're talking. We're leaning now towards like real life situations.
Street shit. Yeah.
But I'm talking like
even then, I've seen people like during league ball that I've played, you know, like fucking pissed. Yeah. And like start throwing elbows hard. And it's like, sit down, bro. Like,
what are you doing?
Have a timeout. Like, you're having a tantrum.
Tantrum. Exactly, a tantrum.
You know, because
I just don't like the show of it in soccer where it's like we all know it's a show. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna play with you. Like, I'm not, like, if I was in that situation, it's like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm either gonna like leave, but if I'm in a crowd and like, if I'm in a crowd and there's a violent, hostile crowd to me, I'm going to defend myself like a better.
Yeah, you're not gonna wait for you to be the guy on the floor.
Right. I'm saying I'm gonna be successful, but in that situation, like, oh man, there's a hostile group of dudes surrounding me now. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's soccer, so like this is fake. No, I'm not waiting. How do I know that I trust that all of these guys are just playing pretend because it's soccer? I have no idea. There's no way. So if you're gonna come and surround me like that, like, oh, we're grabbing collars and we're like good, like, oh, okay, now I'm defending myself.
You touch me, that's a different fucking game.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not.
Like, now
I guess the game is over now. Like,
I don't. We're doing this now.
Because I'm not one for, like, I'm all about personal space. You know, I don't like to get in people's shit. And I don't want people in mine.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know you, there's no need for you to be in my face, like, or touch me, or like,
touch, you're assaulted, right?
Yeah, like, don't grab, don't touch me, don't put this in my face, like, you know, like, that's not necessary for me.
Oh my goodness, we're talking about like talking and show and all this stuff. Oh my goodness, dude. So let me tell you.
Yeah.
So what happened was, like, you know, Izzy Adesanya, so he's one of the MMA UFC champions of the world, right? And so, you know, he's great. He's a great fighter and stuff like that. But he's fighting Marvin Vettori this weekend, right?
And we're breaking all barriers and all rules because it's supposed to be the scuffle talk. But go ahead.
Oh yeah,
I just had to throw that in. Check out the scuffle.
Check out the scuffle. This is scuffle talk. We talk all MMA stuff, but
all sports, but
I had to say this because it's on the topic of what we're seriously talking about right now. And
I
so
haven't watched the embeddeds. I'm behind, but go ahead.
Oh, there you go. So Izzy Adesanya and Marvin Vettori, you know, it's fight week. Everyone's pretty much like in the close proximity or whatever. They run in a hotel lobby. They run into each other, right?
Okay.
And in the clip, they run into each other, and like Izzy waves at him, Marvin, like they're talking some whatever, you know, they're shooting it, you know. And then Izzy walks up to, they kind of both walk up to each other to say what's up.
Yeah.
I guess shake hands. And then Izzy tells him something like, "Oh yeah, man, hey, you need a belt." And then Marvin says like, "Yeah, I'm getting yours, man. I'm getting yours," as he walks away, and he's all smiles, and they're both all smiles, and they walk away. Izzy smile like, you know, whatever, and smiling like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get your belt. Don't worry." And he walks away. That's the encounter. That's the context. Okay. So that's it. Then Izzy is interviewed about that encounter like minutes later, right? And like, oh my goodness, this guy, you know, I've talked about how cringy he is, and talk about show, right? Show talking. Like, he's very good. He's a very good fighter. Because he's a good fighter, I feel like people give him leniency, like, oh, I guess that was cool because he said it, so it's cool. And they kind of don't analyze what he said. But if you even stop to think for 1 second what he said, it makes no sense. And it's cringy, really cringy. And so what he said was, they asked him about that. "Oh yeah, you encountered Marvin Vettori. How was that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I waved at him. What people don't understand is this is a tactical war. And so I waved at him, and I went to go shake his hand, and he was all smiles because he didn't have his crew with him." And it's like, dude, in what? Like, in the same breath, you're being a hypocrite. In the same breath, like, "Oh, I went to shake his hand, and he shook my hand. He was all smiles, but he didn't hit me in the face because he didn't have his crew with him." Yeah, but you didn't hit him in the face either. Like, what are you asking though? You're asking like, "Oh, he's what, a bitch because he didn't hit you in the face?" I don't understand what you're saying. And you also didn't hit him in the face.
No,
So does that make you? He said he was petrified, and it's like, what are you talking about, Izzy? Like, you just you just poop out of your mouth, and you think because like, well, I'm Izzy, so if I just keep going, then people won't question too much. They're like, "Oh, you're Izzy." You know,
see, I'm a big Izzy fan, and I'll watch that clip, right, and I'll dissect it and show you that you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, my thing is like, that's a reach, obviously, right? And it's like, I'm all for making content, you know, but to make content, like, you have to have some kind of something. Like, if it's something behind the scenes that nobody saw, great, run with that. You know? But if it's documented and it's like, that didn't happen that way, now you're just kind of getting into the delusional aspect, in a way that it hurts your look versus gives kudos to your look. Like for instance, you know, the documentary with the Bulls, right, where we find out that Jordan had some enemies, right, but then a lot of the enemies he had were made up. You know, these rivalries that he had was made up, right, just to get him into that zone to be like, I got to destroy this person and drop numbers on him, right? But we didn't know that until now. Okay, I feel
like we did know that.
No, not where he got nudged and therefore he fucking had to destroy this dude on the court.
Oh, I mean, we didn't know detail, but we knew that he thought that way. You know what I mean?
Like, he had a killer instinct. But what I'm saying is, we didn't know that they weren't real. For the most part, you know, like, you can, I have to beat that guy because he's this and that, right? But to say like, that fool bumped me, and he was showing me up or whatever, and then that didn't happen, and then you're just like, that's a level of insanity to get to that top tier, right?
Right.
But the fact that that was never put out, like, Jordan didn't put that narrative out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the most part.
But still, it's based on, like, that's not hypocrisy still though, because that's like, oh, you bumped me, and he in his mind is making it something else. But there was still a bump.
True.
Now I hate you for that bump. I'm believing that hate, but I'm doing it for this killer instinct or whatever. Everything that you just said.
I think there was no bump either though.
Okay, and that's fine. Like, because you can go out, you know, like when we're competitive before, you can think like, oh man, this is a simulated war. We're just wearing jerseys and it's soccer, or we're wearing jerseys and it's basketball. But this is a simulated war. Get yourself into that battle mode, and then you go out there. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. This guy's doing an interview, and in the same breath, it makes no sense. Like, let's say I have a bout with you.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I hate Patrick. I hate Patrick. That's man. And yeah, it's make believe. I don't hate you, but I hate you now. Because we have a bout or a game or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But if we go and we meet each other beforehand, and then I'm like, now I don't respect him. Well, why? He was clearly petrified. Did you see how he didn't do anything? Yeah, but you didn't do anything either. Yeah, don't ignore that part. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, dude?
Well, that only works if there was beef, you know? And I feel that there is no beef
for them.
Well,
for them, they fought once before, and Marvin felt that he won that fight. You know,
that's not beef though.
That's beef. They hate each other. Dude, did you see the interview with him in Vettori? And Michael Bisping, of all people, was like, he was the person that was doing the interview. Yeah. It was so great because Marvin, it doesn't work. That like I'm Izzy and just because I just say trust me. You know, he does it. Yeah. Trust me. Like, no, not trust you. No, you've been wrong too many times. No, not trust you. Sorry. So it's like it just, and so it doesn't work on Marvin. And so that interview was so freaking funny. They had mad beef. And then something happened where like, I don't know, Izzy didn't even do anything. And that's what set Marvin off, that he like burped or something. He like did something. And then that made Marvin more mad. But he was cool the whole way, like laughing. But then that set him off.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the beef, so I feel like the beef is literally, I feel I beat you and I didn't, and I have to win. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like like a Costa have beef. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Izzy said, "I hate you." He said that about Marvin. He's like, "I hate you."
But off of what? Off of what though? You know what I'm saying? Like I beat you. Like he already beat him.
But I think you know why he hates him? Because that cringy, like whatever Izzy had got going on, first off, it doesn't work on Marvin. He hates that. He hates that he doesn't buy into it like everybody else.
But
you know?
Neither did Blachowicz.
Yeah, Blachowicz didn't, because he felt like, dude, I'm Blachowicz. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But there was still no beef there.
No, there was no beef.
You know, Izzy after the loss was like, hey man, he's a great fighter. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not saying that. Well, I was getting me to the next point is that not only does he not buy into that stuff, but he feels he won. So it's like, God,
But did he not?
You did. No, well, he did, and I think he did. I mean, we saw the scorecards, and I don't think Marvin did bad. I just don't think he won that fight. Yeah. But Marvin felt it was close enough to be like, well, to claim robbery. But it was one of those where it was like, it got kind of close, but we know who won. You know what I mean? But it got close. Like if you want to stretch and reach, then you can be like, well, Marvin won. Like, no, I don't know how you can stretch and reach that, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like a super beatdown.
No, no, but I mean,
so that might piss Izzy off more, that this dude's walking around like, no, you didn't beat me. Your Izziness, it doesn't exist on my level. Like it didn't exist for me.
But Izzy said he's like, he thinks he won, or it's weird because the little clip that I heard, it sounds like Izzy says, I feel he won, but now I have to make a statement, you know. But I'm thinking what he really said was, you know, I'm just hearing it differently, but he said like he thinks he won. I think that's what it is, because he says he thinks he won, right? But it sounds like Izzy is saying it about himself, you know. But obviously, I think he's just saying like, this dude thinks he won, and now I got to put the fucking exclamation point on. No, you didn't.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But like
that's what he has to do.
Yeah, but there's no beef to me on that. Like you can't, you know, like if you're telling everybody I'm just saying, like, if you told everybody, oh, like I beat Saga MC in a fucking foot race, you know, and everyone's like, okay, well, we saw the video,
and you didn't.
you had a burst of energy at the end, you almost, but you didn't beat him, and you're telling everybody that you beat me, you know, and everybody's saying no, I wouldn't be like, dude, like,
yeah,
I'd be like, Daniel's tripping. Like, that's the end of it. Like, I'm not mad that he feels that way. Good for him.
It's not
no beef.
It's not Kobe. It's not like Dillashaw
No,
Faber
like,
or Colby Masvidal
yeah.
or
But see, like, I could then make it beef by saying you're fucking stupid because you think you won. You know, which would then piss you off.
And that's what happens.
You know, and then we're like, oh yeah, I'll show you. It's like, yeah, you ain't gonna show me shit, bro. Like,
and that's what happens. He's like, how I already beat you. He's like, yeah, whatever, you know. And he's like, oh, we know. And so they're both. I'm not saying Izzy buys into Marvin's stuff either.
Yeah.
Marvin Izzy's very confident, and he should be. He's the champion and has beat everybody that he's come across. So he has all the reason to be. But it's just so funny because it's two fools that are like you know when you like know something for sure. So like you know it for sure. You're like, okay, go look it up because you know they're about to look it up and be like, oh, okay, they're about to be wrong. So you're like they're both talking to each other in that way.
Yeah.
No, like I know what you're doing, but you know, right? And then Marvin would be like, yeah, no, but you know, right? Like we know, right? No, yeah, we know though, right? We know. Like it's just so funny.
You know what I don't like, and this you just reminded me because of Izzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that UFC Dana White. They're like, yeah, we're gonna book Africa soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we have three champions, right? In 2022.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck, dude. Like again, with it's like give these people their flowers while they're alive, right? But also while they're champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, there's 3 fucking Nigerian champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Nigerian, right? Yeah.
Well,
African champions, African champions, right? Yeah. But it's like you're gonna wait till 2022 in a sport that can change within it of one fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if all 3 get knocked out? And again, it's most unlikely, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like let's say Izzy loses. Now it's like, oh, there goes your fucking shot to headline Africa.
Yeah,
because we waited 2 years too late. Like Izzy's been champion for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Maybe 3?
But you still got Ngannou and Usman. I mean, these are
awesome.
You got solid champs. Like,
yes, but what I'm saying is they do this where it's like, oh, we'll go to your motherland.
Yeah.
Soon, in a while. Like look at fucking Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to headline Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll do that definitely after these next 5 Vegas trips.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, dude, like, come on, like they want to do. They're the champ. Set that shit up already. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I agree.
You're not even the champ for 1 or 2 wins. You're a champ for like 4 wins.
Yeah.
Like after the third one, you should have already been thinking like, hey, we're gonna book this. If you win this 4th one, we're already there.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would be pissed. Like,
like,
dude, I've fucking been winning.
Yeah.
And now, oh shit, like, yeah, it sucks if I lose, and I understand, but you could have gave me the kudos 5 fights ago.
Yeah.
You know, why'd you wait till you're like, oh wait, we're gonna take it back because you lost. Never mind.
Well, so that brings me to my next point. Like, you're talking about kudos and fighters, right?
Yeah.
So we'd be remiss if we don't bring it up. The Jake Paul fight, or the Logan Paul against Floyd.
Isn't that old already?
Yeah. No, isn't that old? Yeah, no, but I mean, you know, because like, Costa brought up like fighters are getting mad that these guys are getting paid for sparring matches, basically,
and I agree, because what it's showing is, and okay, so I understand from a business standpoint. Is genius, right? It's genius, but at least like okay. So when Conor went to fight Mayweather, at least he had a fucking reason. Yeah, people were like, "Dude, MMA is not boxing, and Conor's not a boxer," but he slept people with his hands.
Yeah.
Okay, you know his left hand or right hand, I forget fucking which one it is, knocks fools out. Okay. Now you're going to put him with strictly the hands versus like these 2 people who are on the up and up where their background is wrestling. They're fighting fucking nobodies and you're gonna put him against the greatest fighter, arguably, in boxing.
And I mean, I don't know if you saw the fight, but obviously
I saw enough.
Floyd didn't put it on him on purpose. So I think it's more disgraceful on Floyd's part. The problem is not that he owes us or anything, and it was genius. I mean, he's making millions. He's laughing all the way to the bank. But he can't say that before the fight, right? So now it's just really up to like whoever wants to pay afterwards, and we're gonna pay because it's a circus. We're gonna pay. It's gonna happen.
Well, my thing is this: people are like, "Oh, like Floyd, blah blah blah," right? I really have nothing to say against Floyd because one, Floyd is not a known like knockout artist. He's knocked out 14 or so people. Great.
He could have finished Logan Paul if you saw.
Think so?
By the third, Logan Paul was having trouble breathing. Like it was done. But it was done. It was over. I thought it was going to end in the fifth, but he never put it on him. He never put it on him.
So that's my thing. I don't know for sure if he could have or not, because Mayweather is not in his prime. He's older. Okay?
I'll tell you this. I'm saying that he doesn't care if you do think or don't think that he could have put it on him. I'm telling you.
No, I know he doesn't.
And I know he knows he could have. I know he knows. And if
I don't know that.
If you saw the fight, you would know because Mayweather's smiling and barely sweating at all and chilling, and Logan Paul.
At the same time, right? Logan has a puncher's chance, especially when he's 200 plus pounds against a $150.
Yeah, but all of his hits didn't do anything. They never wobbled. He got a few shots in there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was Floyd and I'm fucking 45, you know.
Again, if you saw the liver shots that he gave him, he could have given him a few more. You know how many jabs Floyd threw? Almost.
No, I saw
none. Floyd not throwing a jab, and that's not on purpose. I mean, I'm not saying. It's an exhibition match, so I wasn't expecting him to do it. And I'm not saying he's wrong for that. He doesn't owe anybody anything. And he's making a point of that. He's like, I'm going to make millions, and I don't really care if you think I'm the best and I'm supposed to put it on him or whatever. I'm not blaming him. I'm just stating that's the fact. The fact is he could have finished him, and now we have idiots saying that, well, maybe he could have. Like, no, he couldn't have. And now, man, Floyd, and if he was a homie, I'd be like, why'd you do that? You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Now people think that he thinks he could have had a chance or
he clarified
that. Anybody that knows anything and saw that fight knows that Floyd could have finished him.
Okay, well, regardless of whether that is for sure or not, the point to me would be when they ask him, like, does he have a future in this, right? Yeah. And he said, not against fucking people his weight class.
Yeah.
Because he could have easily co-signed him right there and been like, you know what? Yeah, he's promising. He's told him the fact. It's like, yeah, he might win one or two, but the reality is he's going to get fucking eaten.
He's going to get eaten.
Yeah, because these fools are now hitting harder than this guy. And he can't absorb those kind of fuck. I don't think he can, right? I don't know him, obviously, but
I just think it's a silly narrative that they're building, and it's okay.
10 million. That's crazy.
No, and he made more. Mayweather made more off the patches off his shorts. He made like
he was saying that. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I would be upset too if I'm Ngannou. Like, this dude can't survive in the ring with. And here's my thing too, like, these brothers are like, yeah, like, we're fucking so great at fighting, right? But yet we'll not dare fight MMA. They want everybody to go to boxing because they're like, that's what we do. Okay, that's fine. But don't start talking shit about, oh, I just fucking killed MMA.
Yeah. Like,
no, you killed an MMA fighter who boxes or doesn't box, but that's the extent of it.
So I got into this debate with some homies, you know, and it was because of the Logan Paul and Floyd thing. And I was like, hey, man, boxing, we got into a debate because he was saying that, well, you know, they might be fighters or whatever. And I was like, I'm struggling to call them boxers. You know what I mean? Like, so what are you talking about, fighters? And he's like, well, he's a fighter. Like, Floyd, these are fighters. And I was like, no, they're boxers. and fighters are fighters, and boxers are boxers. He's like, no, well, fighters, we've always called boxers fighters. That's what they're called. I'm like, yeah, because boxing has been the one combat sport that is the most popular. And so the general public is like, oh, that's the closest thing that we have to a fight. So let's call boxers fighters, because that's the closest thing that we have in combat sports that we see on a general
basis. Are fighting, but they're only doing one aspect.
Yeah, no, that's not fight. So that's boxing. That's an aspect of fight. It's judo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Judo. Like now you're doing judo. And I'm not saying that these things don't aid in a fight, and they could possibly be good at fighting because they're good at boxers, or vice versa, or whatever. If you're a good at fighter, it's possible that you might be a good boxer because they're in the same realm, right? Yeah. But they're different
categories.
They're different completely. And so I started saying the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because now people like you who don't want to stop calling boxers fighters.
That about me?
No, not you, but
I was like, what the fuck?
My homie. People like my homie.
Yeah.
No, like you don't want to stop calling them fighters. So now, boxers, if they beat an MMA fighter, are like, yeah, I could tap you out. That's logical.
Yeah,
I knocked you out, so now I could, anywhere this fight goes, if we were to actually have a fight, then I can mess you up. Like no, and you
have a chance, definitely, right? But
maybe, and if that were so, then you would immediately go and fight MMA. But
that's why the only person who was willing to do that was fucking James Toney.
Yeah, James Toney, and then and now and then he that very same homie, was talking trash about the circus of it all, that it's ruining the purity of boxing. And I was trying to say that boxing hasn't been pure. I mean, it not that any sport really has like a clean history all the way through, but I mean, boxing is known sleaziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's just like, I mean, from the fighter pay to the promotion to the way that the rankings the records are padded and fights have been thrown, and you know what I mean? Like we know it, we know that, and so it's like, what are you talking about? And the circus fights have been happening since Ali fought Alzado, the Denver Broncos guy, and who else did he fight? He also fought somebody else. He fought Alzado, and he fought I'm forgetting his name. Oh, he fought Inoki. He fought Inoki in who was a Japanese wrestler, and that was Muhammad Ali, this guy who's talking considers one of the greatest of all time. So I'm like, these circus fights. That was a circus fight, Muhammad Ali against a Japanese wrestler, and it was an MMA fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had the gloves on, and Inoki kept just throwing himself on the floor in front of Ali, and trying to kick his legs in that way. Right. So it was kind of weird in that fight. And Muhammad Ali fought Superman what issue was that? I forgot what it was, but it's Muhammad Ali and Superman, and they fought. There's like a few issues of that. And so it's circus.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're in the modern era, and so these are what our circus fights look like. I have no issue with them with that. Yeah. I only have an issue with them now thinking that they can, like, if they fought Ben Askren, he's still 40 years old in a hip replacement, and he'd still tap them out in an actual fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can only stand like that. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to worry about anybody trying to take you down. Mm-hmm. And the crazy part is these dudes are wrestling. They have a wrestling background. So it would make sense where it's like they would know, like, hey, I'm doing this boxing thing, but I can wrestle. Yeah. So why not test myself in that arena?
And don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at the Paul brothers for saying it. That's part of creating the buzz. They beat someone in boxing. What makes them buzz is saying, well, now I can mess you up in a fight. Oh, yeah? Come prove it in an MMA fight. No, you come prove it in a boxing fight that I can beat you in a fight. So it's like saying, like, hey, come beat me at golf. And you know what I mean? If I beat you at golf, now it means I can knock you out. No, if you beat me at boxing,
I'm a better athlete than you.
Yeah, you beat me at boxing. I'm not mad at the Paul brothers for saying it. I'm mad at idiots for believing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm mad at them because I'm mad at the picture they're painting because they're, you know,
do it.
No, I'm not hating on the come up, being YouTube famous and then going into different things. Cool, right? But what I'm saying is like, and again, I've rapped about this before too, but it's like you don't have to be a role model, right?
Yeah,
right. But you have to understand that you play a role that kids will follow.
Yeah.
That's the line in woke, right? That I made. Like, I'm not the perfect. Thank you. I'm not the perfect role model. But I also understand that there's things that I do, and obviously for my kids, right? They will see me and be like, I'm going to hold you as a role model. You're not saying you are, but I might look at you. Obviously, my kids will look at me as a role model, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're putting yourself in these places and you're telling everybody like, oh, and all dreams can come true, you just got to do this, that, and the other thing. Great message, right? But then when you slap on all this other shit, it's hard for me to be like, man, that's a genuine person. Like, because I understand you have to build this other crap to then finally sell your little nugget, right? Whether you believe in that nugget or not.
Right.
But all these other kids are like, hey, man, I'm going to take some dude's hat, you know? I'm going to talk shit to these dudes, and I'm going to get to the Logan status. You know, when it's like, no, dude, you talk shit. You take somebody's hat.
Yeah.
As childish as that fucking is, you take another grown man's hat.
Yeah.
You might get your fucking teeth knocked out. Like,
right.
It's not going to be like, I took his hat. Here you go. Like, no, like, you know, but that's the narrative that's being pushed. It's like, this is what I have to do to get to this point.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? But they're in a comfortable space.
Yeah.
They can do that now.
Yeah.
You know, they have their bodyguards and their people. Not everybody has that to start.
Yeah, right.
You know, and the narrative is like, dude, if I can be like Paul or Logan.
Yeah.
I just have to do these steps.
Yeah.
You know, but not understanding that with those steps come you getting your fucking face bashed in, like potentially.
It doesn't always work.
No,
but
they're in an arena. Like, you think Floyd is gonna fucking strangle you?
Yeah.
You know, you think Floyd's gonna beat your ass in the parking lot? No, because he's like, then you're fucking with my millions.
Yeah,
so I'll play the game. I'll be fucking angry and be like, wait, this is all part of it. We'll get in the ring and I'll win and we'll both win. But kids outside is not going to win like that, you know, for the most part.
Yeah. And so two things. So like I sent you the clip, but like Jake Paul saying as much as we call it an L, you know, but like the boxing match itself.
Yeah.
I think that Floyd sold a little bit of his equity to make all those millions, you know what I mean? And that's fine. I don't think he owes it. But if you're looking at the boxing match, he won, right?
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Clearly won. And so but I sent you the clip of Jake Paul's. Go check it out if you haven't seen it, but that is so hilarious.
Oh, they dub his voice down.
50.
50 and 1.
Oh my goodness!
Thing, like, trolls have always been around.
Yeah,
you know? But we didn't call them anything. We called them fools.
Yeah,
but now it's like, you know, like, but now it's like
a thing. Now
I'm a troll and I'm getting and I'm winning, and it's like, oh shit, you are. The tide has turned that the fool is now winning.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't get mad at them, the fool, for making something out of foolishness. That the fool is making something out of foolishness. That's his job.
Yeah, you're mad at the consumer, right?
I'm more mad at, and I'm not even mad at the consumer. Like, I'm all down for circus play. I'm all down for that. But I'm not down to pretend it's something serious. I'm not down to like now say boxers are fighters. They're not. I'm not going to pretend away that fighters are fighters and boxers are boxers. That's just the fact is the fact. I'm not taking away from boxers and saying that. See, that's the other thing that I had to explain to my friend. Yes, technically, like, and especially me, I believe I love sport. I actually am in love with all sport. I love sport. There's something beautiful about competition. I love sport. And if you look at the history of sport, it most of the time it's developed out of creating simulated wars.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanna not go to war and kill your neighbor. So let's put on jerseys and compete in this way. So I get it. Like the essence of sport is a fight.
Yeah.
You are fighting, but it's not a fight. It's not it's a fight. Like, oh, we're gonna fight for this.
Yeah.
So, but under what rule set? Under this rule set, basketball. Okay, it's now basketball. We're fighting under basketball. I get it. It's a different context of the word fight.
Yeah.
Now the context of fight is that this is a fight, not a fight like in the general sense. This is a fight definition. Fight. This is a fight. And so MMA is a fight. And so that's what I'm trying to say. It's not a fight like, oh man, we're rowers and I'm fighting for position here. Like, no, I get that. Yeah. You're a fighter too. You're fighting.
It's not an end all be all, and it just fits everything. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's where people, combat sports, it's a fight. No, if we're doing jujitsu, also jujitsu might help you in a fight. If you're a jujitsu practitioner, it will help you in a fight. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean doesn't necessarily mean you're a good fighter and will knock out and tap out every person on earth. We've seen, you know, I don't know. We're actually going to see Clarissa Shields try, and she's a world champion woman boxer, and she has her shot at MMA this weekend as well. So we're about to find out. But I'm just trying to say is like that I can respect. And she, after being successful in an MMA fight, she can say, I can fight. Like I can do, if I was to encounter you in the street, I can't say, oh, wait, put on your gloves and let's box first. Like
only punches. The
only punches. No, I'm going to kick you in the head. I'm going to kick you in the knee. And then I'm probably going to take you down. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tap you out. It's just, and boxing might help you with that, and it will aid, like wrestling will aid with that, but just because you're a good wrestler doesn't mean you're a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like these things aid in fighting.
Oh yeah. There's levels, and people think there's only one. But
and then you were talking about your songs. You're releasing a single, right? Aren't you, this weekend or something?
Friday, yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, okay, I'm releasing a new single. I have 2 singles coming back to back.
Hey, 2 of them. Let's go.
Yeah, and the first one is it's keeping it 100. So it's literally 100 bars, no hook, just 100 bars. I was like, you know what, fuck, let's go 100 bars. Right? Yeah. And then the one after that is called Bat to the Face. So the first one's produced by Dren Bryant. The second one is produced by Some Guy. That's his producer name, Some Guy.
Okay.
But both I'm excited for having both of them out. Like I'm getting the ball rolling on some more music, so just stay tuned, you know.
Yeah, that's exciting. No, for
sure, yeah. So it's good. I feel good, and I'm in the creative space, so between this and that, I'm good. I got kids, I got my hands and my brain tied up, so
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm fucking just like tired.
You're dragging.
Like, yeah, dude, it's been a long fucking week.
Oh man, but we made it.
Long week, but yeah.
Now we're here. So
yes,
let's. Let's close out our show. Make sure you drop kick that subscribe button. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got your Sad Time shirt on. Let's go,
homie.
But yeah, hit that like. Share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff, and we'll see you next episode. But until then, peace out. Yes.